This year is one of the most anticipated launches of 2020. We first saw the Kia Sonet in concept form at Auto Expo, but now here, this is the production version. Welcome to the Evo India preview of the Kia Sonet. We're going to be talking about exteriors, interiors, and its features list. Let's dive right in. Let's talk about styling first. In the Sonet, it stays quite true to the concept that we saw at Auto Expo. This here is the GT line trim, and you can tell from the GT line badge over here. There's a lot of styling elements that are unique to this trim. For example, the Tiger Nose grille, it's blacked out and it's got these red elements in it. Also, there's this red element here in the bumper which is unique to this trim. Otherwise, in terms of face, it's a very strong, distinct face. The headlamps, they remain very similar to what the concept was. You've got these sharp DRLs which double up as indicators. Below that, you've got projector fog lamps. And these vents too, they remain like they were on the concept form. However, they are fake vents and they don't really lead to anything. The bonnet, it's fairly chiseled, and overall the Sonet has a very strong stance, a strong face to it. From the side, the Sonet looks pretty proportionate. It runs 16-inch wheels and it's got this black cladding at the bottom to give it that SUV stance. There's again a red accent here which I'm guessing is unique to the GT line. There's a bit of chrome as well. So on the window surrounds as well as on the door handles, you've got chrome. The roof, it's blacked out, and you've got another blacked out element here on the C-pillar to make it look more dynamic. My favorite angle of the Sonet though has to be the rear. You've got these cool looking LED tail lamps and a light bar that runs between them. Below that, you've got the Sonet badging on this side, the GT line badging on that side, and you've got these chunky bumpers. You've got some piano black finish on them, and below that you've got a diffuser as well as fake exhaust tips. Now, I'm not a fan of fake exhaust tips normally, but I must say they're pretty well executed on the Sonet with that honeycomb finish inside them. Right, so the interiors of the Kia Sonet. On first glance, a lot of it is familiar because of the Kia Seltos. This is the GT line, so you do get all black interiors with this red stitching everywhere. The steering wheel is straight out of the Seltos. This infotainment screen, this whole slab that comes out of the dashboard, integrating the instrument cluster and the infotainment screen, is out of the Seltos. This is the same 10.25-inch unit from the Seltos. And in here, you've got a slightly funky cluster. So you've got a 4.2-inch digital readout along with a digital speedo. On the left-hand side, you've got a tachometer, and on the right, you've got your fuel gauge and engine oil temperature. Now let's talk in terms of equipment what you get. The steering wheel, it's adjustable for rake but not reach. You've got a traction control button here, automatic climate control. You've got drive mode, so if I click this button, I can switch between eco, normal and sport. There are traction modes to switch from sand, snow and mud, but this is two-wheel drive, so this is gonna maybe set up your throttle and your electronics, but it's not gonna do much otherwise. You've got ventilated seats here, which is a nice addition. You've also got wireless phone charger down here. In terms of the layout of the dash, it's pretty straightforward. You've got your AC controls up here, flanked by two vertically stacked AC vents, and the rest of the controls are down here. Something that I ought not to miss out on is the fact that this gets UVO Connect. So it gets the whole suite of connectivity features that we first saw in the Seltos, we saw in the Carnival, and now the Sonet gets them as well. This includes the over-the-air updates that can keep improving what features it has over time. In terms of spaces and cubby holes, like I said, you get the wireless charger here. You get another tray below that with two USB ports and a 12-volt socket. You've got two cup holders in here, and you've also got a small cubby hole in here, though it's not very large. The door is actually quite interesting because you get bottle holder, but you also get an umbrella holder integrated into the door. I must not forget that this car does get Bose audio, which is going to be, I think, something that will get customers interested and get them into the dealerships. As for quality of plastics, remember this is a pre-production car, but I can talk about the materials because all of this is all hard plastic. There's no real soft touch plastics. There's a couple of different materials used. So this is different from this, which is different from this, which is different from this. So there's a total of 5 different materials I've already seen on the dash, which can get a bit much, but I think it looks okay. It doesn't look too bad. In terms of the back seat, this is what you get. In terms of space, there's a fair amount of room in terms of knee room as well as in terms of headroom. The seat itself is plush, it holds me well. The headrest though, I feel, is a little too firm. In terms of equipment at the back, you've got air vents, you've got a USB charger over here, and you've also got this little cubby hole to store some stuff. You've got an air purifier here, which you wouldn't have noticed up front. And it's got something called a virus killer. Basically, it cleanses the cabin of any virus, which I guess will have people interested, especially with what's going on in the world right now. You've got 2 cup holders here. This armrest folds away. You've got some soft touch materials here in the door handle, but the rest of it is all hard plastic. And overall, the cabin is pretty comfortable.
In addition to the GT line, there will be a tech line as well. It gets slightly different styling cues with the lack of red accents around the car and a differently shaped skid plate. On the insides, you get dual tone beige and black interiors instead of the all black ones on the GT line.
In terms of engines, expect the Sonet to get exactly what the Hyundai Venue gets. So a 1.2 litre naturally aspirated petrol, a 1 litre turbo petrol and a 1.5 litre turbo diesel engine with their respective automatic variants. You can also expect the turbo petrol to get the IMT gearbox with 2 pedals but a manual gear shifter. Overall, I think the Sonet has a lot going for it. It's got very cool styling, it's got a long features list, and knowing Kia, they're going to price it aggressively. I expect prices to start around 7.5 lakh rupees and go all the way up to 12 lakh rupees. I think the Sonet will be to the Venue what the Creta is to the Seltos. They're going to be based on the same platform, have the same engines, they're going to feel very similar, but because of their styling and their distinct characters, they're going to be fairly different as well. I can't wait to get onto the road and drive one.
Subscribe to the Evo India channel and hit the bell icon to keep pace with the thrill of driving.